to my mom too, because she's got a.
That would be nice. Also, Danielle, you were talking about using instant coffee or espresso powder. For her anniversary, Ben actually found me this. It's a concentrated coffee syrup, essentially. And you can use it. You can add it to hot water, steamed milk. You can add it to ice to make iced coffee with milk. You can add it to about anything. And you just don't have to brew a pot if you're like running late or something. Pretty neat. I'm sorry.
You're gonna be texting me that information because, yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
A long time. I could have used this when I had to evacuate my dorm last semester.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's kind of point. Too late now. Oh wow. Uh-oh, where did my dog go? Hello. Are you there?
Yeah, I don't know where everybody went.
We're here.
Okay, so yeah, I got a notification about staying unmuted or something, and it like popped on my browser screen and was really confusing me.
We are going to stay unmuted till about 5:20, and then we're going to mute everybody and get started. That way people have a chance to chit chat, should they be so inclined.
Sounds good.
Which we all know y'all can do. Although I want to say, as a side note, we didn't get through an entire convention without Danielle talking about coffee. It has yet to happen.
Jane, I
finally got in there.
I was thinking the same thing, although this morning she did mention Starbucks. So I thought, well, there you go.
I did not say Starbucks. I said coffee. I did not say Starbucks.
Yes, you did when you talked about navigating and with COVID and the petitions and everything. Yes, you did.
I did not say Starbucks. I did.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
you did.
Yes, you did. This woman that's given the keynote speech for their banquet.
Yeah, she definitely, she definitely brings it up every convention. I was going to be so proud of you, and then I'm not. That's okay. I'm proud of you for other things, just not that one.
No, you said it first.
That's okay. We know she's a coffee addict. It's okay.
No, but Jane said coffee first.
I did, and I thought about it when I thought, daggone it, Danielle's going to make fun of me because I mentioned coffee. I totally thought about it.
Convention without coffee, though, realistically.
Well, it's not really the convention; it's the conversation about it that occurs. That's funny. Danielle would regularly used to get up and give speeches that involved her talking about coffee and the lack thereof.
Usually it was the lack of.
At least I didn't say lack thereof this time.
Oh yeah, you didn't, and also you you didn't stop in the middle of a timed activity to get a cup of coffee either. So there's that. We were just gonna never ever let you forget that. I'm gonna pick on you forever.
That's okay.
No, I want the other.
Well, if it's any consolation, I've had teachers basically tell me to stop signing when I've not been caffeinated. So.
Okay, baby, I'm not muted, Shawnee. Wait,
it needs to plug. Hey, Jane, Kathy, Danielle, Sandra,
hey, Melanie.
Melanie. How are y'all doing? Great convention.
Thank you.
Hello. It's Mary.
Hey, Mary.
So I'd just like to say hello from Utah. This is by far the best Kentucky affiliate convention I've ever been a part of. It's also my first.
I was actually just gonna introduce you. That is so weird. Stop being on my brain.
Sorry.
This is my friend Laura. She is.
Hi, Laura. Thank you very much.
And she's awesome. And I invited her the other night because she invited me to speak at her chapter meeting. So we were in the same leadership class, and she's hung out with us at Washington seminar, and Phil and her and I and her husband have hung out at convention. We're so happy you came.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. You guys have
Welcome.
done a great job, and hopefully I get to come out and visit you guys sometime.
That sounds great.
That would be
planned.
wonderful.
Melanie,
Hey, Todd, happy
I see.
birthday.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Melanie, I see
You're
you
welcome.
found the CHAD symposium. I didn't know that it would be up that soon. I estimated a
It
week,
was
but
up this morning. Yes, it was
Yeah,
Yeah.
really
Riley
good.
was working
Y'all
on
did a
it
great job.
yesterday, I think.
yeah,
She did a great job.
wonderful.
It was great.
Yeah,
Kathy?
she's
Yeah. Yes.
Has anybody been around long enough to have one of the frail mugs from one of the conventions held in Louisville?
I
The
have
ones-
one.
I broke mine.
Well, okay, I had one. It may be broken. I did have one though.
I bought 6 extra ones.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That was a fundraiser. Thank you.
Those, although I will say, Kathy, those were the breakinest mugs I ever. Like, I swear to you, look at it, it'd break. I was like, what?
Well,
What did you all do?
Breakiness?
Well,
Is that a
you know,
word? Breakiness.
It's a new word. I'm making it up.
Breakfast.
Jane,
I
that
love
was
it.
that was Louisville stoneware, so I don't know what the problem was.
I'm telling you
I
though.
have
They-
several of my things.
Oh, I believe
Well, you have
ya.
much better luck.
Hello,
than I do
everybody.
Because, hey, Mr. Bill, how are you?
Time got away from me. Thank you, Phil, for letting me know.
Hey, Bill.
Y'all
Hey,
had Louisville stoneware mugs, Kathy? That is, wow. That's pretty cool.
Well, that was in addition to the banquet mugs. We sold them as a fundraiser.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I thought they were the banquet mug. I was going to say, that's
No,
a
no,
pretty big
we-
expense.
no. I can't remember what they said. So-
Do you guys still do banquet mugs when you're in person?
no, we haven't.
Yeah.
We've never done banquet mugs. in
Apparently
person.
not, because
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know that was a thing.
Were
I
those
don't
the
remember
ones
that.
that had like the picture of Churchill Downs on them?
Well, the mugs that you got at the banquet, I think one of them had a horse. Let me think. What did they have? I'd have to look in my cabinet. Shoot, I can't remember. But yeah, one of them had the twin spires. One of them had a horse. I'll have to look and see what the other one was and get back to you. But
Okay,
I
so
actually
someone has
have
to
one
explain
from
the
my very
banquet
first
mug
convention
thing.
when I was like 10.
Oh, that's cool.
But at this point, I don't remember these.
Yeah, neither do I. The one I have, I won as a door prize. That was like a leftover one, I guess.
I thought
Someone
they were doing
gifted
a
me,
banquet, but I can't remember.
I don't remember, but there were some 75th anniversary, and I guess they were more like Irish coffee mugs, and someone gave me 2 of those, I don't know, Wednesday.
well,
And
I'm sorry, if you will remember, we did have those.
Yep,
it's
not on there.
They're
The 75th
kind of
anniversary.
the mugs with the handle
You
and they're
can-
clear.
Yeah.
Turn it
And-
off, mute it, whatever you want to do.
I didn't
I
have
don't know
one.
if it will or not.
Gave me them.
Scott, I mean, you're unmuted.
I just realized that. Sorry.
Figured you might not know.
Yeah,
I don't remember the mugs that you guys are talking about either.
Well,
Okay,
I don't
thank you. I
summer-
thought I was just dumb.
I think
It's been a long time ago.
Can you all hear me? It's Laura.
Yeah, tell us.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
This summer, as I had been going through stuff in my house, I found 12 of the different mugs, and they're all in a nice little set together. So
But
I
you gotta
think
show me those.
well, they're just coffee mugs. Like they're not really tactile. You can't really tell what's on them, but I think they stopped doing them. And you know how I am with dates and about, because I know we got one in 2007 and I didn't go in 2008 and we did not get them in 2009. So
I went in 2008 and I don't think I have one.
okay. Well, 2007 is the last one I have. So that could have been the last year that they did the mugs, but they were on the table at the banquet.
Yeah, but we decided banquet costs were getting higher and higher each year. So we figured that's one way to, cut down on expenses, to just do away with the mug, because they were
Well,
actually increasing in price as well.
And I think one of the other big things, Kathy, was when we had them shipped to the hotel charged us by the day
Yes.
for
Yes.
the boxes that sat
Right.
there until we had convention.
Yeah, that was pardon me. That was part of the expense. Yeah.
Well, it's going to be our 75th, so it's worth thinking about doing something that would be reflective of the past, even though it's it was a national thing, but it's still, it's kind of interesting, and I think it's interesting because some of us didn't know that. I have one, but it was a door prize, like I said, so I did not know the story until today.
Yeah, me neither.
Hotels are sort of like hospitals, aren't they? In the way they can come up with things to charge you for.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are.
You're right.
Yeah, I remember my daughter, though, at the end of a banquet, people would clear the room and forget to grab their coffee mugs. She'd go around and scour the room and come back with like a dozen extra coffee mugs.
we did that.
Kathy Jackson, we don't know anything about that, do we?
Yeah, Kentucky did that.
Fellow scams,
none of us know anything
May
about
have
that.
involved a shopping bag with an NFB logo that nobody picked up for a really long time, and they may have found their way into our Bell kids' hands with some goodies in them.
May have.
Maybe.
May have.
And then there's the wine glasses from the new ring edition. Remember the wine glasses?
Oh yeah, yeah. We got a wine.
Well,
yeah.
we got 2 extras as we found out in the hall.
I pilfered some of those myself.
Well, when people put them out in the hall, they're going to get taken and thrown away. So
Yeah, exactly.
See, we have
still
a
have
paper tradition. I love it.
I have a display of wine glasses in my china cabinet. The NFB,
Yes.
the 75th mug, and the wine glass from NFB, and different wine glasses that have been given to me as gifts, and so on.
Oh yeah, I've given Christmas gifts. A couple of NFB wine glasses, bottle of wine. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Clearly don't pay enough attention because sometimes this stuff I'm like, oh, there were wine glasses. Like, I don't know. I'm in my own bubble. Everybody knows this. Oh, well, that might be true.
Well, I got mine mostly from the National Center when we had the donors celebrations.
Yeah.
And, we acknowledged all those people giving us big chunks of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, those mugs were nice. I've got a few of them too.
Are they big?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have lids on them, do they?
No, Ma, they don't have lids.
Tell your mama I said hi.
Tell her yourself. She can hear you.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, Ladybug. How are you feeling?
Thank you.
She's
I
good.
love you. Your voice never changes. She always sounds exactly the same. 15 years ago.
Thanks for inflating her head.
Oh, I love your mom.
Oh, I love my mom too.
We all love your mom.
Yes, but she loves it when you all tell her.
Amen to that.
I love your mother too, Sandra. Hi, Jan.
What was that? Somebody?
We're talking to it. There's 2 Jans on here.
Oh, I thought you said Jan. I thought, no, she knew. Lord, talk to me. So her mother is Jan?
Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Hi, both Jans.
Who's that?
This is Karen Maine.
Okay.
Wow.
This banquet dinner is very good. I don't know who ordered it, but it's delicious. One of the best we've ever had.
Yeah,
I had cold
pork
coffee.
that was soaked in a brine, so I can't complain.
I'm just
Well,
drinking hot chocolate.
I've got bad service. My dinner hasn't arrived yet. So hopefully before the banquet ends, the server will come to the door and bring it.
What you having, Kathy?
Salmon,
Oh,
squash,
I do like some
and,
salmon.
and a sweet potato. And I know that's weird, squash and a sweet potato, but it sounded so good.
I was going to point it out, but
That sounds like a really good banquet meal. Much better than chicken.
I'm making a seafood lasagna
Ooh.
with scallops and shrimp and crab and salmon.
Sounds good.
I had
Shrimp
need to be
ramen
added to
noodles.
our recipe list for the next cardinal as well.
Ramen noodles.
Delicious.
But the shrimp kind, not the chicken kind, the shrimp kind.
Oh, well, there you go. That's classy.
That makes it all right.
Yeah. Another, yeah, and and you actually woke up early to come to this too, which is, I think, so sweet. But yeah, shrimp. Haven't had those fancy ramen noodles in a while. I have high blood pressure though, so I probably shouldn't anyways. Taryn, did y'all make anything in your Instant Pot this weekend?
I made some rice in it.
Oh, well, there you go. I did send
It's
y'all
good rice.
Laura's soup recipe.
Oh yeah, you did. I haven't made that yet. But
Hey, Taryn,
hi.
this is Kathy. I was the one that asked if you got kicked off van because I know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Not quite.
It'll be soon.
I'm like a third of the way there.
So how long
Well,
have you
there
been
you
there,
go.
Taryn?
2 months.
Oh,
Yep.
Lucas and I
Before you
did
go-
a leadership. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Lucas and I did a leadership seminar at the Louisiana Center for the Affiliate many, many years ago. And we were used to a group of about 30. And Joanne Wilson, who was president at the time, called us a couple of days in advance and said, okay, there's going to be 65. And so we
65?
spent a couple of 65 instead of 30. And we spent a couple hours going, okay, how can we fix this? How can we make it work for 65 instead of 30?
How did
Yeah,
they have
it was fun.
65 people?
That's who they invited, and they all came. It wasn't just center
Okay.
folks; it was the affiliate.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was like for the entire. I guess
Yeah.
that makes more sense. I was like,
we
I'm
held
pretty
it
sure
at the
there's. I'm pretty
center.
sure there's like somewhere hovering around 40-ish people at the center most of the time.
Yeah, no, we just held it at the center, but it was an affiliate seminar.
Oh, that makes more sense.
But if flexibility is not the F word for you, then it's all good, right? If you're NFB.
That's right. The
Yeah,
F
we're used to
word.
rolling with the punches.
Yeah, that's our F word.
I think
Rolling with the
in a state-
punches.
in a state this size, you got to learn to roll with punches, because if you don't figure it out, there isn't a lot of extra folks to go, hey, go do this. You're just like,
Exactly.
okay.
Thank you. Yes.
If you
yes,
can't do it, figure it out.
Yeah. We actually inherited a member from Louisiana who, we thought, hey, great, you've been in Louisiana. And she came in and has done virtually nothing. And I think, if you're in an affiliate like Louisiana, you can afford to do very little and still look like you're doing something. When you're in Oregon, yeah. And I'm sure Kentucky is similar. If you
very
say
much,
you're
yeah.
going to do something, you better do it, because there's nobody else who's going to back you up, man.
No,
Amen
that
to
is
that.
definitely true. And that's why, I mean, like even today with the technical issues, there were two guys running that in two different places. And if they hadn't had each other to switch off with, that would have been a little more difficult. But even then, there wasn't like a third person. That was just, that was it. I mean,
exactly. Exactly. And my big thing was, listen, I know you can't do everything, but don't commit to something unless you can do it. Because I don't want to be scrambling at the last minute to figure out who's going to cover you. Right.
No, it's like, you have plan A and you better have plan B. And if you think about it, have a plan C.
Well,
because you just never know.
You might be having the same problem, Carla, but like with the whole pandemic in Kentucky, there is a drastic shortage of childcare workers of any kind.
Oh,
so like,
yes.
our preschool is so massively understaffed that some days I'm like, someone has got to come in here so Miss Jane can go pee. Okay, I just need someone to come in here long enough for that.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible everywhere, Jane. It is. Yeah. It's really tough, and getting staff is tough. And when Burger King is paying Burger King here is paying $18 an hour, all the fast food places.
And
Jeez.
And you know what else too is, like, for all my classes, I'm supposed to have 2 interpreters in that room with me. I'm supposed to have 2 interpreters. Guess what? I only have 1 interpreter for a 75-minute class.
Wow.
And they're doing full pro tactile sound like and like I have thrown a fit. I have went above the university. I have complained. My teachers have complained. And now I'm like, we can't find anybody. We can't find anybody.
Where did all the people go? This is what I want to know. The world did not lose half of its population. Where are they?
I know that for a time, a lot of them were just collecting unemployment because it was easy and it was good. But that's stopped.
Run out. Yeah.
I thought they were all going to come back because they got to work, right?
Exactly.
I've been surprised. It's still rough. And I heard on the news last night, the national unemployment rate is the lowest it's been in like decades. It's 4.something%.
There's something incongruent about all this.
Yeah.
At my school right now, our buses, well, I say school, I itinerate, so I'm across the district, but we have 27 schools in our district, and our buses are running 2, 3, and sometimes 4 runs morning and evening because we are so short on drivers.
Yeah. I've heard that here in Jefferson County too.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's like that in Lexington too. In fact, they put up a schedule. They have like rolling bus outages and that they do. And it might be getting better now. I haven't heard anything recent, but that's how it started. And it was really bad for the first,
is that somebody from Lexington? Who's from Lexington? Who's that from Lexington?
Oh, I'm not from Lexington. I live in Frankfort, but I get Lexington news.
Well, they are very short. My sister or my niece said they're short at least 40 drivers.
Yeah, that's just sad. They said they think most of the people there retired and they just don't want to come back to work and they can't find anybody else that wants to do it.
Yeah, that's it. Well, one thing that I heard is that, the families are now getting the stimulus for each child. So there are moms that have decided that they would just stay at home now. And that's fine, well and good. But if you've only got 1 or 2 kids, I mean, that's not going to support a family.
Right.
So,
right.
They're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to try and make it work. I'm having, it's a good thing that I received the restaurant revitalization fund, because I can afford to, through that grant, I can pay the people that work for me, and I have a big staff. I mean, I've got 10 people working for me. But if it weren't for that, I don't know what I would do, because you have to have a clearance to work in the IRS, and they are not going to sit around. People are finding other things to do. They're not working in this field. It's not like it's not a great field that people want to get into. And I have to tell you, I'm really disappointed in some of the people that work for me, 2 or 3 of them. They were great workers before this. And now, they're starting to call in sick and, these are people that I thought I could count on. I'm not so sure that I
We've
can.
had that problem too.
Oh, we have too. What is that?
Yeah.
Like I'll come to work if it's convenient for me.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually had a girl the other day call in sick, and then it was like noon. Oh, I guess I could come in now. So you weren't sick. You just didn't want to come in then. And my boss was, the supervisor there was like, no. You're gonna have to take your sick day. We don't want you.
It's been tough. It's been tough for my grandson. He's finally got diagnosed with autism, and he sensory wise, he can't wear a mask. I was hoping that if he saw other kids, then he'd want to, but that hasn't happened yet. Anyway,
they don't care.
But if he sneezes or coughs, they call, coming, whether he has a fever or not. And I get it. I'm not griping, but I'm sorry. What?
IFSP for him? You need to get an IFSP for him, and he needs to have a special note from his pediatrician. That's
He did. He does. He does.
Then they shouldn't be allowed to send him home.
But that's crazy. Yeah.
They shouldn't be allowed to send him home. Y'all need to fight that.
And then they sent a letter saying that he would be truant if he missed another day. And my daughter and I, you are the ones that are making us bring him home, and he's not sick. It's just common, and he can't be vaccinated. Well, he might can now if it's approved, but so it's hard on him. And and plus, when he got diagnosed, it was late because of the pandemic. They were going to try to do everything in like late March, early April of the 2020, and yeah, it didn't happen. So, but he's going to school now, and he's doing so much better. So yay.
Well, if he has an IFSP and you guys need help, let me know, because you guys, they are actually doing something they're not supposed to do. I'll talk to you when we're not on here, because I will help y'all, because that isn't not at all what should be happening. Not even. Right. I have kids in my class that have plans and don't wear a mask because they have a plan. And I was actually the one who said they needed one, not that the parents did. I'm like, they can't wear a mask. Ain't gonna happen.
Right. So, Jane, you said earlier your kids are your preschoolers wearing masks in your classroom?
So, 2 and above are supposed to wear masks. My children were 1 at the beginning of the year and turned 2.
Got it.
I have a couple that are still 1, but I also have one who I think will eventually be diagnosed and is not, but she's not wearing one because she just can't. The anxiety level is way too high. We still practice just, to get the feel. And I have another one that has like just some oral sensory things, so she'll drool a lot. Yeah. And so after I go through 3 masks, the deal is if you go through 3 masks, then that day is too drooly and we're going to try again tomorrow. Done. Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm like, that's foolish. She's sucking in her own spit.
Because our state is torn on this. We imposed a mask mandate for R2 and up. That's not what the state is requiring.
Ours is not a state.
Oh, it's not a state
Ours
thing?
Is just
okay, but
no.
Well, and that's us. Our program has decided this, and because kids that age cannot get a vaccine, still cannot. And I was concerned about the risk, because the pediatric COVID cases were on a huge rise. They still are. So yeah, we only lost 1 family over it, surprisingly enough.
Well, our governor did impose one, and then he got taken to court by people who said he couldn't. So then they took it away, but our center kept it because the university was like, we're going to keep that, because it's a center at the university itself. So
yeah, apparently in Louisiana, people don't have to wear masks anymore, but it's still a requirement at the center, which I think is good.
I wanted to share a book because anyone who knows I have a little toddler. And so when all this mask stuff started happening, Noah he went through this thing. He was okay with it at one point, and then he wasn't at other points. Jane can tell you. I mean, at the beginning, he was like we'd say mask kisses. And now, then he just was like, it's too scary. But we found a really good book to help with his fear. It's called Heroes Wear Mask, Elmo's Super Adventure. And it goes through a day in the life of a preschooler going to school. So I just thought I'd share, if anybody works with toddlers or has a toddler, that book has been very helpful for Noah.
Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys, and thank you for chatting. I guess we should probably at some point get started. Although I could just chat all night. It's lovely. It's like being in person. But it is that time. So I'm gonna get
before we close, could I have a great niece who's about 4 years old, and when her uncle came to visit, she said, "Have you had your vaccine?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "Then you can come into my house."
Oh, that is so funny.
Yeah. Well,
that's
kids are going to
great.
react the way their parents do.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's very smart. I like it. So we're going to kind of do the same way that we did before. Phil has the list of people who probably are going to need to speak. And so you would be listed as a co-host so that you can mute and unmute yourself. And I'll go talk to him in a minute when I'm not talking, make sure he has the right list. I know Mr. Bill would like to open in prayer. He was pretty excited about that, and I appreciate that request. And so I think we will go to Mr. Bill. Maybe we'll go to Mr.
Am
Bill.
I
don't know.
unmuted now?
There you go.
Now you are.
Okay, great. Thanks. Our holy God, we are thankful to be here for this convention. We are thankful for getting us through this year and the opportunities that we have had. We ask you to continue to bless us, to bless this food that we're so fortunate to receive tonight. And we ask you to help us to keep on spreading the words of NFB and to remember those leaders of the past and present, God, who's helped us to get where we are today. For these things we pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. It's always nice to have you. And I'm glad you're going to be back on the board. Very excited about that. So it is that lovely time that we get to have our keynote address. And I'm glad that we all kind of got to talk to you in a more impersonal way before this.
Yeah, me
I think
too.
that's nice and something that you sometimes miss virtually. So I appreciate that, and take it away.
All right. So I'm Carla McQuillan. You heard from me earlier. And again, it's so weird not to have feedback, but here goes. When I say the word travel in an ordinary crowd of people, people might think of white sandy beaches and clear blue waters, or mountaintops peaked with snow, hikes through the desert. When I say travel in a group of blind people, a whole different set of images conjures up in the brain. So in his book, The Wanderess, Roman Paine wrote, travel comes from the old French word travail or travailler, which means to work, to labor, a suffering or painful effort, an arduous journey, a tormenting experience. And sometimes when I hear that, I think that our friend Roman Paine may have been a blind guy. So I know that there are times when my travel has been fraught with difficulties, most of them self-inflicted. For example, when I was at the Colorado Center for the Blind, I was on a travel route with my travel instructor, and I thought I knew what I was doing, right? And I'm walking along in sleep shades. So I went to learn Braille, but you know how that goes with the centers. You need to do everything. So I'm like, okay, so I'm under sleep shades, and first Julie Deedon and Eric Woods and I go and we get a coffee at the coffee shop there close by. And then after we got a coffee, I went to learn the crossing. It was a T crossing, which is a little different. So I'm walking. I got my coffee in my left hand. I got my cane in my right hand. And what I missed was that immediately on my left, there was a sign coming up from the ground that I did not see. The arc of my cane did not catch. So my left arm that was holding the coffee, the elbow hit the signpost as I'm walking quickly, which is what I do. Coffee slams against my chest, the lid pops off, and I am covered in a fountain of coffee. And it was my favorite white cotton sweater. Now, if any of you know anything about cotton, it is unforgiving, particularly with something like coffee or red wine, which I've also experienced spillage in addition. So I said a few choice words, and Eric, who was my travel instructor, was behind me and said, "Everything okay, boss?" And I let him know that I had gotten coffee all over myself. He goes, "Well, let's go back to the center." So we head back to the center, and I went into the restroom, took off my sweater, rinsed it off in the sink, making sure that all the coffee was gone so that I could wash and it would be okay. Okay, it was wet. I wrung it out, but I put it back on. And this was, by the way, this was Colorado in January. So it wasn't so warm, but I was in the center after that and I was okay. And then my first error was deciding I was going to get myself a cup of coffee. So I went into since I had thrown all of my other coffee all over my sweater. So I went into the kitchen and I got a cup of coffee. And I'm heading out and I hear one of my colleagues by the vending machine cussing and swearing because she couldn't get what she wanted. And I said, "Hey, Angela." And Angela spun around, smacked into me. And once again, my coffee splashed all over my sweater. And I once again went into the restroom and rinsed off my sweater and decided I was done with coffee for the day. Now, I take full responsibility for that. What I'm talking about is encounters with other people when you travel. And these have been in my travel years, which have been long and many with the National Federation of the Blind. I've traveled a lot with my school endeavors. I have categorized these into three separate travel disaster categories: planes, trains, and automobiles. So let's start with planes. I was traveling on NFB business. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I'm sitting waiting to board the plane and my name gets called and I come up to the desk and the guy at the desk goes, "Oh," and I thought, great. He says, "Well, I had upgraded you to a better seat because of your status on the airline, but it's an exit row. And I see that you have a white cane. Are you visually impaired?" And of course I said yes. And he says, "Well, you can't sit in that row." And I said, "But really, if you want someone who's going to be able to handle the situation, and I go through, I'm a preschool teacher. If you want somebody to manage a large group of people, I'm it. No, I understand, but the FAA regulations say." So he says, "Do this. I don't have any other seats I can put you in. So when you get into the aircraft, let the flight attendant know that you need to be reseated." So dutifully, I went to the sweet young flight attendant who was probably in her mid-20s. And I said, "Hey, guy up front says that I need to let you know that you got to reseat me because I'm in an exit row." She looks at me and she says, "Are you capable and willing and able?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely." She says, "Go sit down." And I thought, okay. So I sat down and an older couple sat next to me. I was in the window seat and I'm thinking, okay, this is good. And then my tormentor came down the aisle. It's always the older people, right? So I know I say that and my husband keeps reminding me that I'm one of them. Yes, so it's one of those older people who flight attendant comes down the aisle and she says, ma'am, I'm going to need to reseat you. And I said, why? And she said, it's a safety thing. So I said, really? So do you prohibit the consumption of alcoholic beverages in the exit row because of safety? Dead silence. And I said, because if you don't, it's not really about safety. It's about your misconceptions about what a blind person can do in an emergency situation. And I assure you, I am perfectly capable of dealing with this exit door. She walked away. Score up one for the blind lady. So I'm on another flight. I'm heading to a Montessori conference with 3 of my staff members, my employees. And I am the first on board, little plane. You get like 2 and 2 seats. You guys from Louisville, I know, I've flown into them on those flights into Louisville, little planes. And I step up and the woman does this spread eagle blockage, both arms up, both feet spread, keeping me from entering the aircraft. And she says, they're supposed to tell me when people like you are coming on the plane. And I stood there and my staff behind me is just cracking up. Where are you sitting? And I said, well, I'm in 1A. So if you just step back, I can come in the aircraft and get in my seat. And she says, when we get to San Francisco, there's going to be stairs. And I looked at her and I said, so what exactly are you saying? That I should get out of the plane now to avoid stairs in San Francisco? Or perhaps you'd like to carry me down the stairs when we get to San Francisco? Well, she finally relented and stepped back, and I sat in my seat and I had a staff member next to me and the other 2 across the aisle. And then she comes up and she looks at my staff and she says, are you taking care of her? And one of my teachers said, no, actually, she's taking care of us. And I am happy to say that that flight attendant succeeded in insulting a number of other people on the aircraft. It wasn't just me, right? Offering people extenders for their seatbelts, right? One of my teachers goes, is she calling me fat? But anyway, so those are some of my plane experiences with travel. So automobiles, I know you're saying to yourself, she forgot trains, because trains would come after planes and before automobiles. But it only works with the story if I go to automobiles next. So I am at the Washington State Convention, and I've been in this hotel all weekend long, and I'm getting ready to leave on Sunday. So I call a cab and I go out and I get in the cab to head for the train station, which is where this story continues. So I get into the cab and the cab driver goes, wow, you did that real good. And I'm trying to think what he's talking about. And I said, what? He goes, you know, you found that door. You found that door real good. And I said, you know, I've been here all weekend long. Door's been in the same place since I got here. It's an amazing thing. So we start making our way to the train station. And at one point he goes, you ever thought about speech? And I was trying to figure out again what Mem was talking about, not thinking he's talking about the speech on my computer, but I said, excuse me, speech? He goes, yeah, you know, you blind folk, I'm thinking speech would be a good field for you to go into. Okay. So I thought about telling him what I did, but I'm pretty close to the train station and I just don't think it's worth it. So I let it go. But he didn't let anything go. And comes up next with, do you know Joe Rigby? And I'm thinking, okay, I'm in a different state. This guy has just met me. Well, I have no idea who Joe Rigby is, right? I said, well, who? He says, well, you know, he's a deaf guy. Of course, because all of us sensory impaired people know each other. I said, no, and fortunately, I'm getting off of the train or off of the out of the cab and getting ready to get onto the train where I thought I could have a nice, pleasant, uneventful trip back home. Boy, was I wrong. So I get out of the cab, I get into the train, and there's a woman sitting next to me, train's full, and she says to me, hi, are you a student? Now, I am wearing a suit and heels, and there is nothing, and I'm in probably 40 years old. There is nothing about me that screams student or any reason why anyone would have automatically gone there. And I said, no. She said, are you married? Thinking this is a little personal, but I said, yes, I am. And she said, oh, good for you. Okay. Then she says, do you have children? And I have 2 children. And I said, yes, I do. And she said, well, isn't that great? Now, my oldest was 14 years old. My youngest was 8, and he was delightful. But my oldest was 14, and she was a girl, still is, and had an attitude a mile long. Let me tell you about my daughter. When she was 11 years old, we were at the Detroit convention, and I was not present for this experience, but I heard the story from multiple people. The elevators in Detroit were, as usual, very bad at a national convention. They were particularly bad in Detroit. And my daughter was standing at an elevator where there were mobs of people at the close of sessions. And elevator comes, a crowd of people flood in, the elevator's absolutely packed, the doors start to close, and someone pushes the up button and the doors pop back open again. And everybody in the elevator groans, and then the doors start to close again. And the same man pushes the up button and the doors pop open and everybody in the elevator groans. And my 11-year-old daughter turned to the man pushing the button and said, if you would let the elevator leave, then we could push the button and perhaps another one would come for us. That man was Dr. Jernigan's son-in-law, Tony Cobb, who worked for the National Center and was at the time the person who ran all of the hotel matters during convention. That was my daughter. So when this woman said, isn't that great? I thought to myself, sometimes. So I closed my eyes, trying to feign sleep, hoping that this woman will leave me alone. And pretty soon she taps me on the shoulder. Subtlety was not a medium in which this woman dabbled. And she says, excuse me. And I opened my eyes. She said, you are visually impaired, right? I knew we had already established this. I knew we had talked about this. I told her about the National Federation of the Blind. I told her about all the things I did to avoid her stupid questions. And I knew there was more than that question behind the question. And I said, yes. And she said to me, well, you just seem so normal. Normal. There it was. Fortunately, she turned to another woman across the aisle, positively done with something she could not understand, and started talking about some trashy novels or soap opera episodes or something like that. Didn't matter to me. And I thought, you know, that might have really bothered me if I were not a member of the National Federation of the Blind. 20 years ago, it would have bothered me. But it was just words. You know, my husband is a speech communication instructor for the local community college, and he does this really great seminar about confirming and disconfirming messages, basically how, you know, negative or positive comments people make about you, how you can turn it around and change the communication climate from negative to positive. And one of the things that I love about this seminar is disconfirming messages are messages that basically attack yourself. They say you're not worth who you think you are, or you're not valued. And what he says is that a message is disconfirming only to the extent that the recipient perceives it to be. You know, I say that again, because this is an important thing to keep in your mind. A message is only disconfirming to the extent that the recipient perceives it to be. So if you're not important enough to me or in my life for me to care, you can't hurt me. The words you say are meaningless to me. And thanks to the National Federation of the Blind, that was true. So the things that woman said to me were just words, and they rolled off my back. Besides that, this is not a person I would have wanted to engage with. Sorry, trashy novels, soap operas. No offense to those of you who like that stuff, but not the person I'm going to hang out with. So in 2016, when President Riccobono asked me if I would serve on the national board, I asked him why. I had served on the board previously, and I said, why? And he said, well, I'm looking for forward-thinking people. So here's the thing. I'm sitting writing this speech, and I'm going forward-thinking people. Do you know that all of these travel experiences that I have just shared with you guys occurred probably 20 years ago? And when I tried to come up with something that was more current, I couldn't. I was stuck. One little incident, we had a group of our Bell kids and our instructors. All of us were blind. We had 3 adults, we had 8 kids, and we went to the Oregon Museum for Science and Industry. Nobody messed with us. Nobody tried to grab us except one guy, old guy. Remember I said, it's always the old people. One guy grabbed me at one point. I stopped dead in my tracks. I said, please take your hand off of me. Nobody ever messed with us beyond that. And I thought that was noteworthy. So I'm looking back at what happened in the past. And you know, Benjamin Dover, a journalist, his friends call him Ben, said, it's okay to look back into the past as long as you don't stare. Taylor Goldschmidt from the band Dawes wrote these lyrics. The only cause for maps and change, the only cause for looking back is to see how far we've come. how far we've come. So we have come a long way. Are we there? No, I don't think we're there. Not yet. We've come a long way. Our training centers have given people the independence that they need to make their way in the world. The National Federation of the Blind has done a lot in terms of legislation and advocacy and awareness of blindness and blind people. But here we are, still fighting for blind parents to have the right to parent their children. And the only reason someone thinks they can't is because they're blind. The right to access information for students, for employees, for all of us is still a barrier to our full participation in society. So no, we're not there yet. But I am filled with hope, energy, and love by participating in the National Federation of the Blind, because my expectations are raised and my contributions make a difference to me and to others. And I can celebrate the realization of my dreams with my Federation family. So in the same book, The Wanderess, Roman Paine wrote, "Wandering is the act of a child. It is the passion of a genius, and it is the discovery of the soul." My Federation family, let us wander together and let the flame of our passions reflect our dreams, and let us wander together towards the realization of those dreams and work together as the National Federation of the Blind to make them come true.
Thank you very much. At the beginning, I was laughing so hard, I was crying. And at the end, I kind of wanted to cry. So you went everywhere. And I think it was beautiful.
They laughed, they cried, they hurled.
I
know I hurled.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you for being with us and taking, your weekend to do that. And I know that you do that many weekends because that is the nature of what you are doing. So we appreciate that very much.
It's been delightful.
We aim to be delightful. We try to pretend in front of strangers, at least, just, for the record. That's what we're trying to do. All right. Angela, are you on here? Hopefully.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right. Angela is going to present one of our lovely awards for this evening. I think there's one. If there's more, I apologize. But so Angela, take away your awards presentation.
Thank you. So first, I just want to say thank you to Jane for giving me the opportunity to chair this committee. This is a committee that I've chaired for the past few years now, and I've greatly enjoyed doing so. My committee members were Danielle Burton and Laura Stevens. And I just want to say thank you to both of them. Greatly appreciate you, ladies. So if Laura wouldn't care to jump on, she is going to give you all some background information about the award we will be presenting tonight, which is the Susan V. Rarick Award. Once Laura has given you the background information on that award, I will be coming back on to present that award. Go ahead, Laura. Are you on here?
Yes, I'm on. The award that we are going to be presenting this evening is the Susan B. Rarick Award. Susan B. Rarick was a first grade teacher at the Kentucky School for the Blind in the early to mid 1900s. She was a forward-thinking individual who expected more from her blind students than did her peers at the school or the public in general. Because of her high expectations of her students, she clearly represented teachings and philosophies of the National Federation of the Blind. The person who receives this award could be a blind or a sighted Kentuckian, and we are very excited about the person that we are giving this award to this evening. So I'm going to turn it back to Angela to make our presentation.
Thank you so much, Laura. The person receiving this award embodies all that this award represents. She is very forward-thinking. She strives to do all that she can to be positive for those who are blind and visually impaired. She embodies this herself in everything that she does. And I have had the immense pleasure of working alongside her in many capacities, and I know I've seen personally, and I know we all have seen tremendously how much she has grown in regards to her leadership capacity. The individual receiving this award is Miss Karen Maine. Miss Karen is the president of the Frankfurt chapter. She is the second vice president of our affiliate. And most recently, I had the opportunity to serve on the legislation committee with her. And when given the opportunity to attend Washington seminar, Karen was very hesitant and didn't think she could do it, but she ended up doing a phenomenal job and being a true asset to our legislative team. So I am proud to present this award to Miss Karen Maine. Her plaque, which will be in both print and braille, will be sent to her at the conclusion of our convention. Karen, would you like to come on and say a few words? Phil, would you mind to unmute her, please?
I'm sorry. I'm in shock. Guys, oh dear. I'm not good at this. Oh, thank you. I'm so astonished. I've been really happy to serve for the NFB for the past, 89, shoot, quite a while, 25 years or more. I'm giving away my age, but that's fine. I thought mostly older people got these. I guess now I'm one of the older people. I'd like to thank you all so much. I'm amazed. I'm just really shocked. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't feel deserving of this. I'd like to thank my chapter for being behind me all the time. And we've sure been through a lot of strife over the past several years. So I want to thank you all very much on behalf of my chapter. And I love you guys. Thank you, Federation family.
We love you too, Karen, and it is very much deserved. Please do not ever think otherwise. We are so happy. Thank you for all of your hard work.
So much. I'm just I don't know what to say except thank you, thank you, thank you.
Congratulations,
Karen. You're awesome.
I love you guys.
We love you too.
Now I totally wish we were in person because I seriously want to hug you. Karen, you have been amazing. And I think that when I first asked you to be the second vice president, I wasn't sure you were going to say yes. And I'm very glad that you did. And I'm very, very glad that we have been, to Washington seminar together and various things. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you for sure. Well, guys, we've almost climbed the whole mountain. We're on our way. We have one more presentation. from Todd Stevens with his drawing, in which Kathy Jackson will probably win unless if Sandra, all her names finally pan out, for the Newsline presentation.
Jane, are you ready for me?
Sir?
It's Todd. Okay.
Yes,
I'm so sorry.
it's your turn.
Voiceover was talking while I was trying to find the button to unmute.
Yeah, don't you hate when that happens? This happened to me. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I've got some exciting news. I have actually pulled the winner of the $100 Visa giveaway for the campaign that we had to increase subscribership for NFB Newsline. And, you know, Jane, Mrs. President, I think you're going to have to eat your words, what you said earlier.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for her. I'm pulling for her.
Because the lady, Sandra Williams, fellow board member, is the grand prize winner.
Yay! Not that I don't love you, Kathy, but yay!
Congratulations, Sandra.
Congratulations, Sandra.
Woohoo!
So much business your way. She should definitely win that.
And you know, she is just she is the star for this project. I mean, she just continues to crank out people, and it was blind people at first, but now it's people with other disabilities. So she's been amazing. And I couldn't really think of anyone more deserving that this $100 would go to.
Well, I think she's just sitting next to people on the bus, getting them in and being like, hey, sir. No. Sandra, are you on here?
Yeah.
She's probably
Sandra?
muted.
Yeah.
Sandra, come to the stage.
Thank you so much. And I actually, when I'm not sick anymore and go back to my office, I have a few more for you.
Well, thank you, Sandra. And
No problem.
you know, this should be inspirational for everyone who's listening, because you could be Sandra next year, provided that we can get the board to make this a permanent thing. And I think that probably is very possible. So crank them out. You know, we need your help. There's Jenny and I, and, you know, we do most of the work on Newsline, but we really need everyone to support this project. And it's a project that everyone can benefit from who is print impaired. So please keep that in mind when you run into people that you think might actually benefit from the NFB Newsline service here in Kentucky. That's about it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish up, Todd. This is Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, I'm done. Go ahead.
I just want to say congratulations, Sandra. I don't deserve that $100. You do. I know your name was in there hundreds of times, and you really do deserve it. And I'll take the heat from Jane, but you deserve it. So spend it in good health, and I know you will. It'll be on shoes or clothes, I'm sure.
Well, in my defense, there was no reverse raffle, so I missed a lot of Kathy heckling at this particular convention, and it made me sad. So
Yeah.
there you go.
That is
absolutely. And before
we
I
were all
jump off,
missing out on that.
Yeah, but see, that's where my name is in there several times.
No.
Before I jump off of here, I just wanted to compliment Carla. What a beautiful banquet speech. I mean, it was amazing. I loved it.
It was, Carla, and it was beautiful.
It really was. It was amazing. I was laughing so hard, I was crying, and then I was wanting to cry about, so it was great.
Isn't that the truth? That is the truth.
And I feel like a lot of your experiences, so many of us have had the same ones, and that makes it so much more telling, I think. So that's great.
Well, thank you. And Kathy, I debated, because you heard that in Indiana when I was there a couple of years ago.
Yes, I did. And I remember Indiana for another reason. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. But we will not speak of that here.
No, we will not.
I'm not even going to ask. I'm moving past it. All right. Thank you guys so much. This is my first convention as the affiliate president. And there is no possible way I could have even pulled this off slightly without so many of you all helping me out. And I so much appreciate it. And I would start naming people, but inevitably I would forget somebody and then I would feel bad. You'll probably get profuse texts here in the near future. And being a small state, like we talked about earlier, everybody has to do their part or we cannot do what we do. So I appreciate all of you. I don't mind if people are welcome to stick around and chit chat. We can leave the Zoom open, but we